This play really resonated with me because my first musical that I wrote, I started writing in 2004, and it had its premiere at the New York Musical Theater Festival in 2012. Yes, long process. But I was not getting accepted to the Musical Theater Festival, and I was being like, there's so many crappy shows that get done in this festival. Why can't my crappy show be in this festival? And they had this thing where if you didn't get accepted, you could talk to the people that are in charge of selecting shows. So I signed up for that, and I went in and I spoke with this lovely woman, an Asian woman, about my play. And just to show how blind and what a different time it was in 2008 or 9 when I went in to talk to her, I had one character in my show. So Flambe Dreams is about a young man who wants to become a great maitre d'. He lost his father in a freak flaming bananas Foster's accident, and he's never had a father figure in his life. So as he comes to New York and he's trying to become this great maitre d', he's meeting with these different restaurant owners and maitre d's that become father figures in his life. He had like this hippie dude, and there was a Japanese dude in a computer cafe / sushi place, and there was this Frenchman in a French restaurant, Le Cirque. And so I was really playing with a lot of stereotypes. And to me, I was just like, oh, I'm just playing with stereotypes in general. It's so fascinating because you can play with stereotypes unless they're ethnic. I'm not complaining about that. I agree with it. And this woman who was Asian basically was like, I don't like this one character. Why is he? And she said it in a very nice way, but I knew what she meant. I was like, oh my God, I've written a racist character, which is crazy to me because I have Asian friends. No, but literally my best friend is Chinese. And I used to go on trips with him as a kid with his whole Chinese family. So when it comes to Asians, I feel like there's not a racist bone in my body. And yet, having grown up in US culture, we take on certain ideas of what is funny and what is funny about a certain race. And so then when you take that and you put it in a play and you're a white man and you're writing for an Asian character who is being played by a white man, why is he being played by a white man? Well, because the character of this main character's father, the father plays all of the father figures. So whatever race you cast that guy as, he's going to play all of them, whether he's a white hippie dude, whether he's a Frenchman, or whether he's Asian, whatever. Yeah, so watching Yellowface, I was like, oh my God, this play is about me as a writer. I've dealt with the same thing. If you're on Broadway, casting, it's not a problem. But when you're trying to work at a regional theater, or when you're trying to do a low-paying off-Broadway performance, casting people, talented people who are a minority, can be really, really difficult. So we have to do the work, of course. But let me tell you, there are plays, I mean, there's plays where as a casting director, you look and you go, oh, okay, oh good, we have 4 people of color coming in. God, I hope they're good. God, I hope they're good, because you only have 4 to choose from. And then you have 100 young white women, so many. Men benefit from this too, because there's much fewer men that have the skills that you need. I have completely gotten off track. Maybe this will be a supplemental video because I have just lost track. As long as I'm off track with my review of Yellowface, let me talk about Miss Saigon. When I was in university, we had a class where we would put up shows and you would do them for the class. So you just work like a couple of weeks and you mount it and you'd be assigned the show. Well, this was at Brigham Young University, where in these productions, I played, I find it crazy. They would be like, well, we want to stretch you, so we're going to give you roles that you would never play, which I get maybe on age, and I don't really understand the point of that. Even if you're going to give a character actor a leading role, they're never going to play that. So maybe they should work on maybe the character role. Just me. Comment below if you disagree. So what happened is they assigned Once on This Island, and because I was a bass baritone, I was asked to play Tauntaun Julian, the father of Ti-Moon, which in a way worked because the woman who played my wife was Black and our child was Asian. So it was like colorblind casting, but not a role I would ever play. And then the other one that happened, Miss Saigon, and they asked me to play the engineer. And I loved playing that role. It's such a fun role. And I had dreams of maybe I would be able to play this at a regional theater. Well, no, that never came to pass. Now, in my defense, I never did Asian face at all. I just played it as I was. Although, because I have kind of almond-shaped eyes, people have, in the past, have asked me if I was mixed race. So watching Yellowface, there's a character who says he's mixed race, and I just was like, yeah, I know what that is. I was once cast to play Ito in Anti-Mame, and that one I turned down because that character is such a racial stereotype that I couldn't. Hey, I'm back. I wanted to talk about Jonathan Pryce and the role of the engineer in Miss Saigon. So, I find it interesting that they describe the engineer as a Eurasian character, that his mother was Vietnamese and his father was a Frenchman. I'm really curious if when they originally wrote this role, if he was Eurasian. My guess is he was Asian, because the engineer is operating on this idea that Kim's baby is half American. So if the kid is half American, they can get to America because they'll have to let them in because this is a child of an American serviceman. This logic doesn't make sense to me for the engineer to believe this, because if the engineer is half French, then why hasn't he gone to France? His father was a French serviceman. So why hasn't he gone to France? Why did he go to France years ago? I believe that when this character was originally written, he was meant to be full Vietnamese because there's no reason for him to be mixed race. And I feel like the only reason they did that is to justify, well, Jonathan Pryce is white, this character's half white, and another actor is Asian, so Jonathan Pryce is just as right for this role as an Asian person is right for this role. Because he's half Asian, he's half white. Tricky, but I don't think we'll ever see a white man play that role again in any Broadway or high-profile production. And I think that's a good thing. Okay, but the irony, to get back to my show Flambe Dreams, I had written a racially stereotyped character because I was playing with tropes. The hippie dude was a stereotype, the Frenchman was a stereotype, and the Asian man was a stereotype. But I will tell you, that show actually was accepted to the New York Musical Theater Festival before the next year, and I did it without changing that character. Now, afterwards, as we promoted the show for other productions, I have changed the character. I've actually changed it to a kind of nerdy white dude who's just in love with Japanese culture, which is a little dicey, but we'll see. We'll see when it's produced. We'll see if people have problem with a Japanophile who just loves Japanese culture so much that he's embraced it. He's opened his own sushi restaurant. He loves manga and anime and all that. So yeah, stay tuned for that. All right, I have completely gone off my review of Yellowface. Let's bring it back home. So,
when the road curves and the topic swerves, still those nerves, 'cause we're going on a tangent. Stay in the car.